Marley.
It's show business, Marley.
This is crazy, right? Hey, everybody, welcome back. If you had a chance to catch part one, you know that all of a sudden we are having some technical issues today. My call dropped first, and then both of us dropped at the second one, like it just ended. So we are starting off a brand new live stream, and we're going to call this part two. So if you want to catch up the history of Knit Stars, please check out part one. We're going to jump in to what I was talking about towards the end of the part one video, because I'm not really sure where it ended right now without going back and watching myself. So what I was saying to Shelly is I'm happy that she has made this accessible to people who are, essentially homebound, whether it's a disability or if they're young moms or young dads and you just can't get away financially. There's a lot of different things to it, and it's nice to be able to go watch Knit Stars and be able to have access to this stuff. I was also saying that having the yarn and being surrounded by the different yarn in my house actually gives me a lot of inspiration, like many other designers that I know. I get a chance to look at the yarn and think, oh, that color looks really great with that color, because it's here. So it's nice that Knit Stars goes to the designer, because you get that inside look at their design process. And so that's where I was going with all that before I got cut off, Shelly. Sorry.
No, it's great. No, so the accessibility is really where at the heart of all of this, right? So
Yeah.
like you said, moms with young kids, people, busy professionals that can't get away to go to yarn shows and events. But the biggest thing, I think, accessibility wise, that I didn't even see coming was the global factor. Because I think here, especially in North America, I know you have viewers all over the world,
Yes.
but particularly in North America, I think we can get a little spoiled. Even me in Oklahoma, I have an opportunity. It's relatively easy for me to get to, like, there's a Stitches show in Dallas. I can fly to New York for Vogue Knitting Live. Now, that said, that doesn't mean some of these teachers we have in Knit Stars don't travel to teach, right? So there's a lot of these you could never see, even if you magically manage to get every ticket to every start.
Absolutely.
But what I didn't really think about was the people in other parts of the world that don't have as many opportunities as we do here in North America. There are huge, Stephen West fans and Hannah Feg fans. I mean, because of the internet, we all have people that we
Absolutely
love. But so I remember when we first open enrollment for Knit Stars 1.0, and it was all a big experiment, right? And the very first person who signed up was from the first, sign up comes through, and it was from Singapore. And I was like, what? and we watched it just snowball over the coming days. People were jumping into we have a private Facebook group, and they were saying hi from everywhere. And the last person to sign up in that round was from Dubai. Wow. And I was like, okay, I think we have touched a nerve. In particular, like the Australians, who have such a big culture of knitting,
yes,
and all the merino sheep running around in New Zealand and stuff. But how often do these teachers, most of them have never been to Australia.
Right.
So they never have opportunity unless they fly around the world to get in and see some of these people and learn from them. Right. And so they were like, thank you so much for bringing this to me, for long. So it really does open up the opportunity to everybody on the planet, which then by osmosis gives us an opportunity to create a global community where everybody's like-minded, where everybody wants to learn more, wants to advance in their craft. Everybody wants to support other people in their craft. They want to not feel isolated, and they like that. They're drawn to the positivity, because that's
absolutely
what we're all about. And so that has been the unexpected delight for me of Knit Stars, is that this community has sprung up. And so people will be like, hey, I'm going to Amsterdam. What yarn stores are there? Everyone's like, well, Stephen and Penelope, duh. Right? But there are other ones in Amsterdam, right? And and then there's been the yarn component that we didn't expect that's helped people discover new dyers and new stores and new just connections. We hear of people, they're like in the London airport and start talking to somebody else who's knitting, and they're both in Knit Stars, and they connect and they stay connected after the fact. That's the stuff I get like super excited about. So
I love it. I love it. So when you go out and you start seeking designers and stuff, how do you what's your selection process, or what are your factors that you think about? Like, I have no idea. What do you think about?
That's a really great question. And it evolves a little bit every year. The first year I started reaching out to people, and it was kind of hard to explain because there was nothing to show them yet. What is this thing you're trying to create, right? And some of them got it, and some of them didn't. And over the years, I've built up a lot of friends in the yarn world. So I started reaching out to people, and I was struggling a little at first. And someone said, "Shelley, just invite the ones that you'd want to go to a cocktail party with."
Yeah.
They said, "Who are the ones that you love to see when you go to TNNA? Like, who are your friends? It doesn't have to be the top headliners that everybody wants to see at every show. There's a handful of the people that everyone knows, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was so glad they told me that because it changed my perspective. And so now what we do is, of course, we reach out to the ones that everybody wants to learn from, right? And the ones that are like the hard tickets to get. But we also reach out to we strive for a really cool cross section of different kinds of designers, dyers, thought leaders. We have Carson Demers in this Next Knit Stars, who's an ergonomist, right? Like,
yes.
So now we strive for, what we want is, you came for Stephen West, but then you discovered, Amy Small from Knit Collage or whatever.
Yeah.
We strive for a really great cross section of all kinds of backgrounds, all kinds of audiences, and all kinds of learning.
That's
so
perfect.
We're looking for diversity. And so then another thing that happened, that's how we started, right? And then now how it's evolved is people said they would like to see there be a common theme so that they're learning more intensively within a certain theme.
That makes sense.
And selfishly, I had a little aha moment where I was like, hey, if we go to a different area of the world every year, then I can check off my bucket list. And so, if we're going to be doing it, I might as well have fun visiting places, right? So this year, for example, our theme is North Stars Rising, and we decided to focus on color work. So we do always a trip somewhere, and then we have also a lot of North American stars because that's where the biggest concentration is, of resources. So we went this year to Arnie Carlos in the mountains of Norway. We went to Vera Välimäki in Finland, and we went to Crystal Seifarth, and she lives on the island of Fano. It's on the westernmost portion of Denmark.
Wow.
And I had no idea. We actually found out about Crystal through Arnie and Carlos. I said, I'm looking for one more to visit when we're over there. And he's like, well, Crystal the island she lives on, it's 14 kilometers wide. She has a festival every year where 10,000 people come to this island.
Wow.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And she ended up being, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people might come, they've heard of Arnie and Carlos, or they've heard of Vera, but maybe they haven't heard of Crystal. Well, if you only were buying one class, you would never get to discover Crystal. And to me, she was one of the greatest surprises about this whole thing. And then we also have, so it can be kind of, we try to make sure that Knit Stars appeals and has, learning for all levels, right? So I know people can be kind of scared of color work. So Vera, like for example, Vera doesn't have, she's teaching stripes. She's all about stripes. So it's not like you don't have to be able to do Fair Isle to, enjoy Knit Stars. And then our North American stars, we have like Laura-Lee Beltman.
Love her.
Yes, fabulous. And we have Andrea Rangel. She does all of this motif work. Mary Jane Mucklestone. So they're kind of like the North American stars that have really been embracing sort of this Fair Isle color work explosion, right?
Yeah. Is Laura-Lee doing the vertical?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
That is the cool. I roomed with her and I was like, teach me your ways, Yoda. This is fantastic.
All of them. When I'm editing their workshops, I'm like, I have to stop, and because I'm like, I have to put on my editor hat because I want to just get my yarn out and just do everything that they're doing. And then we have Carson Demers. Like I said, he's teaching you all about how to knit comfortably and for a long time, right?
Yes.
So I've learned a lot from him about what I do wrong, and it's fascinating. Like that is a workshop that everybody who works with yarn really needs.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah,
absolutely agree.
And they do a special version for us. This isn't stuff you can get even in person. In fact, I had Carson in for a live retreat, and I sat through all of his workshops at my retreat, and I learned a ton from his Knit Stars. I mean, they all do something special for Knit Stars you can't get elsewhere.
Yeah.
Let's see, Cecilia Campisharo doing sequence knitting blew my mind.
Oh, I bet.
Blew my mind. She's incredible. Let's see, who am I? I got to make sure I'm not leaving anybody out.
Bud.
Ann Budd. Oh my gosh, Ann Budd. Okay, what Ann does, and I love Ann so much. So Ann makes steeking not terrifying. I mean, it's everybody's biggest fear, I think. Yeah. And it's like that shot of her cutting, it's just like, but she teaches you on a cup cozy how to steek, and a way to do it without a sewing machine, which was my biggest fear, actually. And then how to put a zipper in, or how to put a button band in after you steek. So she takes it one step further, and makes it where it's not terrifying and not such a huge commitment. You're not cutting up a sweater,
Right.
So that's Anne, and I should have the list in front of me. I feel terrible if I forget.
I feel like I'm forgetting somebody too.
Oh my gosh, Anne and Kay from Mason Dixon Knitting.
Oh yes.
Okay, and their whole workshop, there's nothing about color work. It is the path to knitting joy. So they don't teach designing, but they teach, I think they, along with Carson, maybe the most powerful of all of the workshops, because they teach people how to get past the things we put in our way, to really enjoy our knitting process. Like all those rules we make up for ourselves. Like I'm not allowed to start a new project before I finish this project. So they have like 10 rules on how to find joy in your knitting and in your yarn.
That's interesting.
And they're awesome.
They are awesome. It's funny because that's one of the things, without even knowing that was what they teach, or that was something that somebody teached. Somebody will ask me something about Stephen West, why do you think he's so popular? Or why do you think this, that? And I said, you know what? He follows his own rules. And I think he just has so much joy. He's like, I can put any color together I want. You don't tell me what I want, And I think that's the there's this freedom with doing his stuff. And it's pretty cool. Not that I want to gloat on Stephen, but I think
totally. And I think
they work together.
Yeah, Stephen Berg is the same way, actually. I think he frees people from the rules that they have in their mind. We had people actually posting last year. Because Stephen Berg was in our Knit Stars, they were saying, I am actually in tears. I'm watching his workshop, and I've never let myself think that I'm actually an artist with what I do. And I'm like sitting here, tears streaming down my face, and other people were saying, me too. And it's not like his workshop was sad. It was really liberating. And that really, if you say it in a word, what Knit Stars is all about, it's kind of that freedom thing. Like, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can. I don't have to put myself in this box. I can learn from all these different people, that I can do all of these techniques. I can learn to steek, and at the same time, I don't have to. If I don't want to steek, I don't have to steek. If I only ever want to make garter stitch scarves the rest of my life, but still like learn and be inspired, I can do that.
Absolutely.
Do what makes you happy.
Absolutely. So, I feel like we've enticed or whet the appetite of a lot of people. So let's tell them how they can sign up. And then like, if I were a brand new I've never signed up before. So if I'm jumping in, like, do you get like instructions immediately of, okay, no, here's where you start and here's how this works, or, kind of walk them through what they could expect once they sign up? Because I know that signups are closing soon, right?
Yeah, signups close this Thursday at midnight Pacific time, I think is the thing. We do only a short sign up window because we spend most of our time working to build the event out, right? And so what they can expect, there's a link that I sent if you want to put it up. There's an enrollment link.
Okay, I put all the information in the show notes, so I think it's there.
Okay,
let me look. I'll look while you're talking.
It ends with the word enroll, the direct link. Or they can just go to knitstars.com, and actually they can join our free series. We do a little free mini series so everyone can get a taste of it. And it's got Arnie and Carlos and Vera and Crystal and a bunch of free patterns in it. I think there's 4 free patterns, so they can do the mini series and sort of get a taste. There's also a lot of videos up. There's one that goes into a lot of detail on the Knit Stars Facebook page. But if they sign up for that free series, they will get the emails to remind them to enroll with the direct enrollment link. Okay. So once you enroll for Knit Stars 3.0 course, it's $199. We could talk more about why it is, what it is, and everything. But that's for the whole event. And that page has tons of information on it, that link. It's got a video that shows like it's sort of a movie trailer of what all the different stars do. There's one with me going into depth about it. There's a ton of direct quotes from people that have participated in the past 2 events, and all kinds of info. So once they join, they get an email right away. It's all through your email. People ask sometimes, does this all happen on Facebook? And the answer is no. It happens in your own student portal. So it's an online site that you can access from any device, wherever you are. And as soon as you get in, now remember the event doesn't start till November 26th, but we have some advanced things that are happening. Like this scarf I made and designed using a Koigu yarn, this pattern's already in there as a bonus. So there's a section as soon as you go to the portal that says welcome and bonuses, and it kind of gives you the lay of the land of how the site works. But it's pretty intuitive and simple. I mean, it's just very, each day during the event, we'll roll out a workshop. We'll email people to say, hey, so-and-so's workshop just went live, go watch it, or watch on your own free time. And you'll get emails throughout the event letting you know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. And then, of course, we have, customer service. It's hello@knitstars.com. We have a private Facebook group if people have questions. But it's become such a huge group that people tend to answer each other and help each other out too, right? So you can pretty much get an instant answer if you have any confusion. Generally speaking, we don't have trouble with people getting confused. Sometimes they forget where their portal is, but it's just knitstars.com. So, yeah. Sometimes they need the reminder. And during the event, as it rolls out with each workshop, a lot of the designers will provide a free pattern that goes along with their workshop or just as a bonus. I think we have 13 patterns that are exclusive to KnitStars that'll be included in the process. Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
So as a designer, I think that this is one of the most important things, because this is one thing that some previous companies started off doing, but they aren't really doing anymore. And that is supporting the designer. It very much comes just economic greed, you know what I mean? And it's like, I'm doing this because I just want to make all the money. Those designers, I'm just going to use them to get to this next level of success. With KnitStars, it's not the case. You spread the wealth, so to speak, or you just really, you're the tide that lifts everybody up. And I love that you do that. So I want to couple that in with, the price of what it is and let people understand, this isn't just money in your pocket.
Oh, no, it's definitely not. In fact, that's been our goal from the beginning. I've been in this business for 14 years, and I've watched all of these stars coming through teaching in my store. I've held retreats. I've gone to retreats. I really believe, I think we've done ourselves a disservice to a degree, and I'm just as guilty about putting free patterns and free stuff out there all the time. Everything's free on YouTube, the free patterns on Ravelry. And sometimes we can forget that if everything's free, how can the best in the industry or everybody, how can anybody survive? It's just like if I buy all my yarn online, and I have an online store, or if I buy it all through Amazon or whatever, how is my local yarn store going to survive, right? So I really believe in trying to lift up and elevate and up level what the top people in our business are making and earning from these things, especially when they come to retreats. I mean, and I'm not saying, I'm just saying the going rate, and everybody's as fair as they could be, yarn stores and stuff, they're as fair as they could be. But the going rate, if you actually, these people have to work really, really hard. Even the top people in our industry, they're leaving their families, they put a ton of prep into it, and they come and teach. And how many people can you fit in a room? Right. The economics are tough if you really look into it.
Absolutely.
So with KnitStars, obviously the potential is there. We could have millions of people doing this at once, right? But we structured it from the beginning. They're partners with us. They're affiliates in the process, and we let them lead. So we do an early bird round back in the beginning of the year. We do 2 sign-up rounds. In the early bird sign-up round, the instructors lead. We do a little teaser where they all go out at once and say, I've got something that's about to happen. And then they lead, and they have their own links. And when you sign up through their link, they get a commission. And so it's kind of confidential, but I could just tell you, they're all really, really, really happy with how well they do. Yeah. And it rewards them for all the effort they put in to build up a following, for all the design work that they do, for all the traveling that they do. The top people in our business deserve more than they're getting. And so I believe in elevating that, because by elevating that, we elevate, like you said, a rising tide lifts all boats. And so that's the other reason why we don't make it where you could just take Arnie and Carlos's class, because we want you to join so that all of these people, you learn about all of them, and you start following them, and maybe you start ordering from Anna Kay, and maybe you start following, what Vera's doing, and maybe you never heard of Laura Lee before, and now you want to go on one of her, she does really amazing cruises and stuff, right? Yeah. And so that's what we're looking to do, and I just wholeheartedly believe in it. There are similar, they call them summits in other categories out there in the world. There's a lot of them, okay? And the going rate for those kinds of things is usually like $397 to $2,000.
Oh
And
yeah.
I am just, I mean, I know $199 sounds like a lot if you're used to only watching free YouTube videos or, you know, even Craftsy courses, taking them one at a time. But it breaks down to less than $17 per star. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy. And the
Right.
chances, and then if you weigh in what you would pay to go, even if you could drive to, you know, what do you pay to go to Rhinebeck, and you got to stay in a hotel, and, you know,
Right.
so that's kind of what you have to compare to. And it's hard to explain to people that have never heard about it before, and they
Right.
don't know what they're going to get. But what I come back to over and over is when people do it, when they participate in it and they consume all of the stuff, or even 10% of what's out there in the
Right.
workshop, they come back and come back and come back and rave. That's what I want. I want people raving about it and sharing, so that more people can come into the community and connect. Right.
Fantastic. I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. I mean, yeah, I think that's fantastic that you do it that way. And so I wanted to make sure that I gave you a chance to explain to people, because some people would be like, oh, it's like,
I
guys, you
know.
have no
It's a
idea.
sticker shock moment. There is. And I get that, because it's just because it hasn't existed before, you know, and when something's new, there's a learning curve. But
Right.
We do offer, just so people know, for next year, right, in the early bird round, it's $20 less. So it was $179 in the early bird round. So people should, if you join, get in. And here's the other thing. Now that we've got, the other ones are available during our enrollment windows only. So the 1.0 and 2.0 that have all of those previous stars are available. And we added this time a payment plan. So if you buy 3.0 plus one of the old ones, it's a 2-month payment plan, because that does climb up. Like if you try to buy all three right now, you know, it's almost $600. So I get that gets prohibitive. We want people to, you know, be able to consume as much as they can, you know, and access as much as they can. So there is a payment plan for people that buy 2 courses at once during this window. Yeah. So the cool thing about that is there's always anticipation waiting for the event to start. It's November 26th. So you could buy 1.0 or 2.0, kind of get the lay of the land, go ahead and see what that will, you know, take that whole course before the 3.0 starts.
Yeah.
And so we want to give people access to that.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So I have in my notes here, it says the event culminates in an online Q&A with the stars. You want to tell me a little bit about that? And before you tell me about that, though, I'm going to tell people, if you are listening live, first off, thanks for joining us over here on the part 2 part. But we have a prize to give away, and it looks like we're giving away a complimentary enrollment to Knit Stars 3.0. So if you would like a chance to win that, and this is just for the people who are watching live right now. So it's 10:48 a.m. on October 30th. If you're watching live, I want you in the comments area to write, I want to win. Okay. So as Shelly is talking to us about the online Q&A, that gives all of you a chance to write, I want to win in the comments, and then we'll randomly select a winner there. As always, there's always a chance for you to win the prize also later on. For those of you who are not watching live, I'll go into that later on. So I'll let everybody else just start writing, I want to win. So Shelly, talk to me about the Q&A, and thank you for the prize. That's a great prize.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm happy to. I hope everybody, good luck. I do want to say before I forget, because some people might have this question, since I mentioned the affiliate links for the different instructors, if you have a certain favorite of the 10 that I just mentioned, or 12, those 12 stars, 10 workshops, go check out their Instagram or their Facebook page. Most of them on Instagram, they'll have this link up right now. They each have their own unique link. And so if you want to specifically support a certain instructor, go sign up through their link, as opposed to the one I have on Marley's page is just our generic link. But if you love one of those people and you want to support them, go do that. Okay. All right. So what did you ask me?
The Q&A at the end.
Okay, the Q&A. Yeah. So we actually do 2, because we do have people all around the world. So we have them in 2 time zones to help accommodate, you know, the different, we don't want to make the at 2 in the morning every time, right? So we do 2 live Q&As, and almost all the stars get on this one call. And so you can ask questions live of your favorite stars. And it's so cool, because from my perspective, it looks like the Brady Bunch on my screen. All 12 of these people are all sitting there. We're all like hanging out, like in our PJs or whatever, right? All around the world, all at the same time. It's pretty, it kind of brings to fruition that whole thing I've been talking about cooperation. You know, like we're all hanging out and joking around. Last year, Tammy White from Wing and a Prayer was on the live call, and she was in her barn. So she has Wing and a Prayer Farm. and she's in the barn, and the microphone kept going to her because the sheep kept bleating in the background. We had to mute her between, things because the sheep were interrupting us. So anyway, it's really, really fun to be able to ask. And actually during the course itself, so as each workshop rolls out, you can ask questions right in the portal or in the Facebook group. So it's really cool because like if you're Vera did this great shawl for Knit Stars 3.0. It's called the Big Spike Shawl. If you have a problem with the pattern, you have lots of ways to have direct access to ask her questions, while you're working on it. It's got some brioche sections in it, so people a lot of times have questions about brioche. So so the Q&A is kind of an extra bonus at the end. We also have a bonus of a yarn option. There's a bunch of bonuses. I'm big on over delivering and surprising people with stuff. So we like to add extra things as we go along. So,
I love that. That sounds like so much fun. Such a fun group. It's like a big slumber party, it sounds like.
It is. In fact, tomorrow, Wednesday night, I don't know when people are watching. Tonight we have a live cast where we have previous Knit Stars owners or people that already own other courses. They're going to talk about their experience and show and tell things they've made from the confidence they got. And then on Halloween night, we're going to do a live Q&A. And I think I don't have a costume yet, but I think I need to go find something today. So it'll be like a costume hangout, right? Where we can get a Q&A. So yeah, we like to bring that live important thing to it and make it as real as possible. And people tell us, even when they're learning from it, it tends to be, I don't know, just the feel of the whole thing is like you're just right there in their living room hanging out, doing the thing with them. It feels very one-on-one, the way we shoot it all.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. So as a yarn store owner that's doing all this with designers and your customers, that's fantastic. That's huge. It's a step that some yarn store owners, believe it or not, they just don't do. It's all about just the yarn. I got to sell the yarn and this is where it is. Mm-hmm. So here we are, we're talking this whole time about you collaborating with designers, with customers from around the world. We haven't even mentioned the yarn. So where does your yarn store owner hat pop on and be like, hey, we have these designers. I wonder what yarn they should use. Yeah. How do you go about that?
It's funny. The first year I didn't intend, we also, by the way, have a yarn store outreach component of Knit Stars. And when you go on the website, we have a local yarn store directory for local yarn stores that purchase Knit Stars. There's a directory so people support their local yarn store, right? Oh. But we never intended to offer yarn as part of Knit Stars. It was supposed to be all just an online learning thing, right? But the first year, two things happened. We had a dyer, Nunaba Yarns from Australia. Jenna, her name's Jenna. She said, hey, can I dye a yarn to celebrate Knit Stars? And I was like, well, that's an interesting idea. And at first I was like, no, it's not yarn. It's just all about the learning, it's just online. And then we had some customers ask, or some people that were thinking about signing up. They're like, well, when I go to Vogue or Stitches or whatever, I love that there's yarn, exclusive yarns that I can't get anywhere. And that's part of the process for me. So will there be yarn, right? Yeah. And so we thought about it. It took a while to convince me because I just had to think it through, and there was a lot of logistics. But we decided, okay, yeah, each time we'll have dyers dye exclusive yarns to celebrate Knit Stars, and we'll offer those through. I've already got a website, so it'll be easy. We'll just have it centralized on loopslove.com. And so that was the first year. And then everybody asked, because we do a lot of surveying and stuff to just keep, improving everything. They said, I would love to see the yarns tied directly to the classes as much as possible, right? And so then the next year we did that more. And we worked with the designers ahead of time. We were like, what dyer do you want to work with? And then we talked to the dyer and kind of put them together and made it more cohesive, right? So the dyer dyed a special yarn for this designer, and then their project reflected that. So then we realized we sold out really fast. So then we're like, okay, we have to have dyers that are prepared for the onslaught because there's a lot of yarn, right? Yeah. And so now here's where we are. So we do, the other thing we learned is we needed to make sure, since we have 2 sign-up periods for Knit Stars, that everybody had a chance at the special yarn. I wanted it to not sell out for the people that were coming in the second round. So we do 2 waves of special yarn sales. It's totally optional. Okay. And, but for example, I have with me here, Vera worked with Amy from La Bien-Aimée, and they did this kit, which I just think is amazing. So beautiful.
I never heard of her. And I actually just watched a podcast, which I never watch. I never watch podcasts in general. Not that I don't watch this one, with Christy Glass.
Yes.
Just because something about her, I one of my friends was posting her, I'm sorry, I'm totally digressing, the
No, that's
Rhineback
cool.
thing. And I was like, wow, I like that girl. Like I could be friends with that girl. Right. And so then YouTube popped over and it did a podcast with La Bien-Aimée. And I was like, oh, she's really cool. So I'd never heard of that before. So it's funny that now you're bringing it up. That's why
Oh
I
yeah,
mentioned it.
it all comes together. And I was actually on Christy's podcast the week after Rhineback.
See, that's funny.
She interviewed me from my New York. I was in New York City for something, and she interviewed me from my hotel bed because it's the only quiet place we could find.
That's funny.
I'm like, this is the first interview I've ever done from a bed. It's just kind of weird, but I love her. Her energy is amazing. So
yeah, I was like, I think I could be that girl's friend. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to totally.
You need to hang with her. No,
I think I could hang with her. I think that we would get in a lot of trouble.
I think we need all three to get together.
Oh my gosh, I would love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotta make that happen. Oh, that's pretty. What's that?
This is an example. This is Malabrigo. Malabrigo has each year done a special yarn for us, and this one isn't tied into any particular star. Although Carson swatches with it, so he talks about how important it is for ergonomics to actually swatch and see how you're holding your posture, and maybe adjust your needles or your yarn. Anyway, so that's not even, there's not a project. It's just a chance to buy a special color that they dye for us.
That's cool. I love the Malabrigo. Isn't it funny that when you talk about Carson, like you find yourself, ooh, I'm slouchy.
I gotta sit up. Okay, when he was in my retreat, he totally dissed on me. Like I'm sitting there, he's like, how do you knit? So I'm doing it my way. And he's like, oh, Shelly, you're going to be like, he's like, that's the worst technique I've ever seen, you know? And I was just like, oh my gosh, so embarrassing.
I know, every time I see him, I'm like, I got to sit up straight.
He probably thinks the whole world has better posture than we do because we all do.
This is funny. All right, anyways.
And then I'll just show you one more because I just grabbed these. I was over at the store this morning. So this is a cool example. So this is Nature's Luxury is this company.
Oh, beautiful.
Her name is Donica. This is like a camel silk blend. The stuff is unbelievable. I had never heard of her, and Cecilia Campisharo turned me on to her. And so Cecilia did a sequence knitting design for Knit Stars, and this is the yarn she chose. So it's cool because you discover, like Nunaba, I hadn't heard of until she reached out to me. So, there's, like I said, there's 13 patterns. A lot of them use the special yarn. I designed this. Tayu from Koigu did a special pencil box for us. A lot of people have asked about. So, anyway, yeah, that's the deal with the yarn. So we'll have the people that ordered in the early bird round got the yarn already in time before the summit starts. This time we won't be able to do that. We're going to make the yarn sales live November 4th. For everybody that has joined Knit Stars 3.0, they'll get a special secret link the 4th at 11 a.m. Central Time. And then it kind of goes crazy, right? And it's open for like 2 weeks. This time also, we Mason-Dixon Knitting put together some special kits. Like I said, I'm all about collaboration.
Yeah.
And then Crystal Seifarth, her business model is, I just respect her business model. She only sells from her store in Fano Island, which I've been in and is amazing. She sells ready-made too, actually.
Wow.
So, and her designs are epic. And so her kits are being offered directly from her site. So we just try to work with everybody where they're at. We try to put it all in Loopslev just so it's easier for everybody to order from a single source. And then for those in North America, we have free shipping for $100 or more. So they like to put it together, right?
Yeah.
But we do ship around the world. We ship, to Europe. Not every single country, but most countries we're able to ship to. So it's this big collaborative thing. And then we will ship the yarn. It'll be like January that everybody's yarn will get shipped from the second wave. Most people are pretty cool with that because they have stash already.
Right.
And so what we do, I don't
speak that language. I have no idea what stash is.
What is that? What is going on behind you, Marley? I don't know.
It's a backdrop. It's like really, it's a green screen behind me.
You're green screening all that. I got you. I understand. I have a stash. It's called Loop's Yarn Store.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Epic. My husband is aware of my stash, but we had a lot of people that have stash, So last year we also started doing, we don't want anybody to feel like they have to order the special yarns. It's totally optional bonus. Oh, and we're having a bag too. Darn Yarn Minnesota is making a Knit Stars bag for the first time, a large and a small. Psyched about that. But we make a materials list of all the things that would be helpful for each workshop. So for like Carson, it's just like yarn in a worsted weight that you can swatch with and appropriate size needles, right? Yeah. Then others, like for Vera, she gave the yarn amounts and gauge and everything for her shawl. So you could shop your stash, you could shop your local yarn store, you could shop your favorite online retailer, whatever. And it's totally not. We want everyone to know it's totally optional, the yarn thing, right? It's just for fun.
Yeah.
But that way, that materials list is already in the student portal. So if somebody joined today, they can access that.
I love it. And I want to reiterate the fact that everybody, so we're kind of getting late to the game as far as getting Shelly on here to talk about this. But Thursday, like this Thursday, November 1st at midnight, that's it. Like you can't sign up anymore. So you only have today, tomorrow, and then Thursday. So 3 days to sign up for KnitStar 3.0. Now, having said that, there will be a KnitStar 4.0, correct?
That is my full intention. I have my next bucket list area of the world to go to is 4.0, but I have to keep it surprise for now.
All right, no, that works. That works. Okay, so we have made the lovely people who are watching live wait long enough, I think. There's many who have commented, I want to win. So I'm going to scroll up and down. You tell me when to stop. That'll be the lucky winner.
Now.
Lily Godfrey. Oh, her comment. I want to win KnitStar's membership. That would make my year. Well, Lily Godfrey, I just made your year.
Nice.
That's huge. So cool. So I'm gonna, while I'm on here telling Lily do you just need her email address or what?
Well, email, first name and last name is good too, because then we can personalize. But you want to give it to me right now? I'll write it down.
Oh, I don't know what it is. I'm gonna have her email it
to me. Yeah. And we'll get her signed up today. We'll get her hooked up today. She should get a welcome email today. If she doesn't, just reach out to hello@KnitStars. It might be in her. Sometimes that first email goes to spam or promotions, So, but yeah, we'll get her hooked up so she can get right in.
Perfect. Now, for people who maybe they're watching this show and it's past Thursday, when would be the next opportunity for them to sign up for KnitStars? And when it's that early enrollment again with the next crew, like, because it'll be a whole new teaching staff, so to speak.
Right.
Will they only then be allowed to sign up for KnitStars 4.0, or will they be able to sign up for all of them after how does it sign up for previous KnitStars?
Yeah, we've experimented around with little things, and we've just found that making it more of an event just works out better. So right now the plan is to just open up previous courses during the enrollment periods for the next one. So the plan right now is 2 sign-up periods a year, and the early bird enrollment. The last 2 years, we haven't pre-announced when that date will be, because again, we want to let the KnitStars lead it, so it happens in this teaser thing that happens on Instagram. But if you follow anybody in the world, it tends to make its way around, right? Instagram kind of lights on fire when we start that process. So last year, I want to say April. So it's in the spring. It's pretty early in the year. It's before we start all of our production, because honestly, that early bird thing kind of helps fund the production, to fly all these crews around and shoot all this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it'll most likely be April or May, somewhere in there.
Okay.
So what they can do, they can also, what I recommend is if it's closed by the time people see this, just go to knitstars.com and we'll have a wait list up. They just need to join the wait list. And once we start any enrollment period, we'll email everybody who's on our wait list and let them know what's happening. Yeah.
And then so if they miss KnitStars 3.0 or 3.0 when it's live, when will they again be able to sign up, just like 2.0 or 1.0?
Yeah, in the early bird enrollment period will be the next opportunity for that. Unless we decide to add it, it kind of depends. As this goes along and we keep growing all these classes, we might have to create more opportunities, but that's what we're doing right now. So like I said, we're a pretty small team. There's really just 3 of us on the KnitStars team, believe it or not. And then we have videographers, and I've got the Loops troops that help support my Loop staff that helps support it. But we're a pretty small team, and we really are mostly focused on just delivering the amazing event.
That's perfect.
So when the signups are going on, there's a lot of customer service and there's a lot of other things. So we just try to limit it to a couple windows.
Right. Yeah. So for those of you who have either missed it, or maybe you're like, gosh, I wish I had an extra couple $100 laying around right now that I could sign up right now. You have a chance to save. Just save some money, a little bit each month, put it away, and in the spring, sign up and have fun with it. And whether it's 4.0 or 3.0 or 2.0 or 1.0, whatever it may be, it'll be there available for you. And this is my last question for you, Shelly. Are you ready?
Well, so I was just going to say one less of these a week, and you can afford it. Okay.
Yeah, one less. Yeah, that's exactly it. Oh, now I just lost.
I'm so sorry. I was afraid I would be like you.
It's because I'm getting old. No. Oh, I know what it is. So it's called KnitStars. And I know for a fact that last season you had a crocheter on. Are you going to include more crocheters? Because I do have a lot of crocheters that watch the show, and there's a lot of crochet skills out there that people really just they want to know, they want to grab on and just learn a little bit more. And there you have it.
That's a great question. We get that a lot. Our original intention was to eventually add a crochet stars. I'll just tell you that my personal belief is I would love to see every crocheter in the world learn to knit and every knitter in the world learn to crochet.
Yes.
To me, as we move forward, I'd rather see it be all about all of the yarn, all of the crafts coming together. And so that's my ongoing wish and hope and plan. And so I would just encourage, Tamara from Moogly was in the last one, and it was all about knitting loves crochet, learn to crochet, learn to knit. Let's all, her projects put both together. So I'd like to see, talk about collaboration. I'd like to see these little walls between knitters and crocheters come down. And so that's my ongoing plan. But I won't say one way or another that it won't ever happen, a Crochet Stars, but I'd like to see it converge personally.
Yeah. I love the combination of the two together. Like, I don't know. I'm a bike crafty person. Like I knit and crochet. I design for both. I do everything I love it because I feel like one complements the other. And so they're really great. So that's cool.
And a little spoiler, Ann Budd, the way that she teaches the steeking is crocheting on either side of the steek. And that's the big, so it's involved in everything we do.
It totally is. And they're so similar together. That's the thing. I think the minute as a teacher, the minute I can explain to a knitter how crochet, it's like, hey, you're doing this chain stitch. It's like you're binding off. It's like, this is what you're doing. It's that, oh, okay, I understand. You know what I mean? Like you have to put it in their language or vice versa,
Yep. I say bistitchual. I want to see the whole world be bistitchual.
Yes. That's perfect. This is so much fun. I'm so glad you came on the show today to talk about this wonderful thing you've put together. I love your energy. I love how much you really do collaborate with other people and just bring together the joy of the craft that we love, no matter if you are, at the dollar store buying yarn or at wherever buying yarn. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, we're all together doing something that we love, and you're bringing wonderful designers in to help all of us improve our skills. And as a designer, thank you. Like it helps all of us. It's truly nice to be appreciated for what we're doing, because it's not always easy. So I appreciate you.
Well, and I hugely appreciate you and what you're doing for all of those reasons and more. And every time you come on and do one of these podcasts, you're putting yourself out there and connecting people. And I don't know that people stop to think about that either. So thank you for everything you do.
Thanks. Oh, it's a big love fest. I can't wait till I actually meet you one day.
I know. We really need to make that happen.
It would be really good. It would be really good. So thank you, Shelly, so much for coming on the show today. And tell them one more time, should they go to Loops or should they go to knitstars.com?
Knitstars.com. And Marley's got the direct link right to the enrollment page that she's got in the show notes. But you can also go to knitstars.com. And even if you can't, it's not in your budget right now, be sure and grab that free series because it'll go away after Thursday too. So there's 3 videos with the free 4 patterns.
Go get those out.
Thank you so much.
Fun. So much fun. Thanks, guys, for joining us today. So sorry about the glitch at the start. I have no idea what was going on. The internet gods didn't like us today for whatever reason. But hey, this turned out a pretty good show, in my opinion. Go check out Knit Stars. If you have a favorite designer in the Knit Stars, make sure you use their link, their affiliate link. Laura Lee is my favorite. I'm not going to lie. Love her. She's fantastic. Like, I love her so much. But there's such a, I'm just mind boggled by the people you brought in. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. For those of you who are not watching live, as I mentioned, there's a chance for you to win a prize as well. We have been talking about the show notes all throughout the show, and the link to those is in the video description box of this video. If you go down there, click on that show notes link, go to the show notes, you'll find a brief synopsis of everything we talked about, including the links that Shelly just mentioned. But if you leave a comment that includes the keyword North Stars Rising, North Stars Rising. So I guess it's a phrase. North Stars Rising. That is your entry ticket for a chance to win your very own complimentary enrollment to Knit Stars 3.0. So you still have a chance to win. So if you are not the lucky, what was her name? Lily, if you're not the lucky Lily, oh, that's funny, lucky Lily. Make sure you go over to the show notes, leave your comment for a chance to win. We'll randomly select a winner, and that person will get a lovely complimentary enrollment. So thank you, Shelly, for those wonderful gifts.
Of course. You're very
Awesome.
welcome. I wish I could give it to everybody.
No, it's great. It's great. And to all of you, thanks so much for joining us today. Just a heads up, I will be at Stitches SoCal this weekend teaching. So if you're anywhere near the Pasadena area and you just want to pop over to say hello or join me for the free pajama party on Friday night, I would love to see you there. Come by, say hello, and let's get a picture together. All right, guys, I will talk to you soon. I'm Marley Bird, and this is the Yarn Thing Podcast. Bye.